Chronicles of the Fox, day 3. Today is back day, one of my favorite days. I love to train hard and heavy, and nothing embraces hard and heavy like leg day and back day. So, going into the gym here in a few minutes, just getting ready to take my pre-workout. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Beautiful spring day out there, got the windows open and everything. So for today's back day, we're going to go in, we're going to start with some reverse grip pull downs. I like to use those to really open up the lats, get a good mind muscle connection. I'll usually do 3 or 4 sets there. First couple sets are a little bit lighter weight, just really focusing on retracting the scapula at the bottom and then stretching it at the top, getting really good stretch and squeeze on the lats. Get that mind muscle connection fired up for when we get to the heavier stuff. From there, I'll go into pull-ups. So I'll usually do 2 warm-up sets there just with body weight, just kind of getting a feel for the motion, and then finish with 1 all-out set to failure weighted. Either a fly or a bee go by there. So we'll start with the reverse grip pull downs, then we'll do pull-ups. From there, we get to move on to the heavy iron. So we're going to go into barbell rows. I'll do 3 sets there. I'll warm up with 135, warm up with 225, and finish off with somewhere between 315 and 325, 335, depending on how I'm feeling. After barbell rows, we're going to move over to the T-bar. Whereas the barbell rows, I feel, focuses a little bit more on lat thickness and lat width. The T-bar rows really allow me to engage my traps, my rhomboids a little bit more, all those muscles in the upper back. So we'll move into T-bar rows, and then we will finish off with rack pulls or strap deadlifts. I like to do the pulls from actual straps as opposed to bars. You get a little bit less momentum and bounce off the bottom, so you're forced to engage your back a little bit more as opposed to just bouncing the weight off a bar. I'll also set the straps a little bit lower than most people set the bar, so rather than just pulling the weight a couple inches from knee height, I'll set it maybe 2 or 3 inches below the kneecap. So I'm getting a greater range of motion, but at the same time I'm not concentrating so much on my glutes and hamstrings as a full deadlift from the floor, especially being a taller individual. So that'll be the back workout. After that, we'll do a little bit of core. I'll make sure to shoot some of the exercises there for you to kind of explain what it looks like, what my form looks like, what I'm trying to feel and get out of each of those sets. So stay tuned. Let's go take our pre-workout. All right, so I've had a few of you ask before what my pre-workout routine consists of, what supplements I take. So this is pretty much it. I take all my supplements before my workout. I feel like that's the optimal time for me, both energy-wise, pump-wise, and getting all that blood into my muscles kind of pushes those nutrients that I'm taking pre-workout into the muscles and use them for better recovery. So I will take multivitamin. You can, whatever your favorite multivitamin is, I'll take 2 of those. A lot of times, especially in the off season, I won't eat as many vegetables, so it's important to get those micronutrients in there. Ultra Human Amino Code, I use this to flavor my pre-workout. I'll also use this intra-workout to really help with recovery. Best aminos on the market. Thank you, Ultra Human, for sponsoring me and giving me best products out there. So awesome. I encourage you to check it out. There's a link in my Instagram bio. That will take you to their website, and I can get you hooked up with a sweet deal there. So this is my big difference from most people. Rather than taking a generic pre-workout, I make my own. So in pre-contest mode, I will use a few other supplements added in there for fat loss and whatnot, such as carnitine and yohimbine. But in the off season, it's pretty basic. I'll use citrulline. And this helps stimulate blood flow. It's awesome for a great pump. So my absolute favorite supplement, bulksupplements.com, you can literally get like 200 servings for $20. So much more economical than pre-workouts that you can buy in stores. And you can dose the ingredients much, much higher. So you'll see in a minute I use it heaping scoop of citrulline as opposed to the standard 3 or 4 grams. I'll put in a full tablespoon or so of citrulline. And then, of course, the other one is creatine. Again, big bag, costs around $15-20 for, I think that's like 400 servings there. It doesn't last me quite 400 because, again, I'll dose mine a little bit higher. But that's it. That's my pre-workout stack. Citrulline for the pump, creatine for strength and muscle volumization, aminos for flavor and recovery by Ultrahuman, and multivitamins for the micronutrients. So you can see here, we've got a big old heaping scoop here. I know what it looks like. It's not. And a lot of people will shoot their pre-workout straight in their mouth. Believe me, with the raw ingredient here, will not go over well. So, yeah, don't recommend that. But I have that here. Like the mad scientist of gains. And, of course, the crowning glory, amino code. Drinking my pre-workout, watching some Dorian Yates. I'll get you motivated. This is an exercise that I created that mimics the hammer strength row pull down. So you'll notice my chest is supported up against a pad. I brought a bench over to the cable station. The handles are set up so I can get a full stretch. You'll notice at the top I'm really pushing my scapula forward, trying to get a full stretch on the lats, then exploding down, trying to hold it for a second or two at the bottom, get that squeeze, and then nice and controlled up, at least twice as slow on the negative on the way up as on the positive. So I threw this in between the pull downs. So I started with reverse grip pull downs, and then I came over to these before doing the pull ups. I could feel I needed a little bit more stimulation in the lats to get that mind muscle connection so I could get the most out of the pull ups. So we did 3 sets here, took the last set that I'm showing right here to absolute complete failure. And this was the finishing move, the rack pulls or rack deadlifts. So I had the rack set to about kneecap height. The straps were actually in use, so I had to use the bars, even though I prefer the straps, but I made the most of it. I just barely touched down on each repetition, focusing not on bouncing the weight, but rather on just barely touching the weight and then contracting as explosively as I could with my traps. You'll notice I'm really pushing my hips forward at the top and pulling my shoulder blades together, really trying to focus on squeezing the traps and all the muscles in the upper back. I got a really good pump from this. Here's a short shot of a little bit of posing I did post-workout. Still sitting at 247, so if we stay at 247 at the end of the week here, we'll bump up the carbohydrates a little bit, see if we can keep pushing up. Gotta get that mass. Road to the Arnold 2020.